10 cities are being set up throughout the whole country of the United States. And we'd like to share with each and every one of us the Second Amendment. We must use our tools. As veterans and family, single families, be on your toes in regards to these last days. We ask also that you may obey the 10 Commandments in Exodus 20, verses 1 through 17. As a military soldier, a veteran, stay sharp. Keep your eyes focused every day of what is taking place in your environment. The issue that I will be discussing this evening is a very serious matter that has been brought to our attention, and we'd like to actually now bring it in this manner. I will give you two phases of this study. The first phase is how they will attempt to dismantle Adventism for quite some time. And our topic is entitled Dismantling of America and Religion, Part 27. As you all know, we also have the guidance of Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach. In the year 31 AD, on the Feast of Pentecost, after he ascended to heaven to his Father and was found worthy, he was given the gift, he was given the Holy Spirit to give to us, to humanity, and to help to bring us to maturity, into the image and the character and love and forgiveness and loving our neighbor as ourselves, the Holy Spirit. In this study, we will begin to share in the first part the dismantling of Adventism and how it has progressed to bring us to where we're at today. In reading and in your hearing, Dismantling of Adventism, Dismantling of America / Religion, Part 27. These hardened criminals openly talk about their plans to run drugs and commit felony crimes at their destination cities. That is, sanctuary cities run by Democrats. Texas is currently busing over 37,000 of these illegals to other states every month with no end in sight. Mike Adams. In reading your hearing, have you ever been told the ship will go through? Surely you have. Stay on the ship, and the Seventh-day Adventist Church is that remnant. Have you ever been told that? Let us take a look in Dismantling Adventism. Did you know that way before you were born, even before your parents were born, and for most before your grandparents were born, the Seventh-day Adventist Church went through a reorganization that has been a dilemma for many years. Okay? Following the resumption of a presidential presidential type general conference organization in 1903, I apologize for my pronunciation, which was in defiance of Sister White's instructions for a decentralized one, referring to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, was in a position where the incumbent president and his officers could use their authority for good or for ill. And this is what we like to improvise: religion and America. What is occurring in our country and in the world? Your reference is found in Dismantling of Adventism, page 48. For example, Elders A.G. Daniels, President of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Number 2, Second President, Vice President, William W. Prescott. And number 3, as President and Vice President. Number 4, General Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. This is what has occurred, and this is what has been growing. So you're not listening to the messages that were given to us as a people, other than going to those who are giving the messages. Number 5, American Revised Version, RV, and the inferior King James Bible has been a dilemma within the church in regards to, well, the King James Bible is not inspired. Oh, let us read the NIV, it's a lot better, etc., etc. It goes on. Take note. New organization will be established, was first given in St. Helena, California, October 1903. Then it was given in Washington, D.C. in 1904. Those who are willing to have the straight, plain messages of God consumed to get them out of their sight will only give increased publicity to and confirmation of the messages that they dismissed and repulsed. When the Lord sends a message to any man or woman and they refuse to be corrected, refuse to receive it, that is not the end of the message by any means, my friends. All the transgression is recorded, and those who took part in it by their refusal to be corrected pronounce their own sentence against themselves. Special Testimony Series B, numbers 2 and 7, page 58. Remember that phrase. Pronounce their own sentence against themselves. It's referring to the singular. In 1904, however, it became what Ellen White warned was a process of reorganization. Washington, D.C., August 7, 1904. It became the General Conference Corporation of Seventh-day Adventist Church. A corporation, you understand what a corporation is? It is a system. And it will go down like all other corporations. The Seventh-day Adventist Church has a 5-year financial plan. That when there is a recession, when there is a collapse, they have money to endure 5 years. But that's all going to change now. Take note. This is what would become a blended counterfeit of the original and real Seventh-day Adventist denomination or church that transitioned from the Advent movement. It was organized in the year 1863. Satan will work his miracles to deceive. He will set up his power as supreme. The church may appear as about to fall, that you've heard numerous times. But it does not fall. It remains while the sinners in Zion will be sifted out, the chaff separated from the precious wheat. This is a terrible ordeal, but nevertheless it must take place. None but those who have been overcoming by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony will be found with the loyal and true. Take note, please. Without spot or stain of sin, without glue in their mouths. These are evangelists. These are people that are preaching the message correctly. We must be divested of our self-righteousness and arrayed in the righteousness of Christ. 4 LTMS, letter 55, 1885, paragraph 18. Correct reading. Therefore, the remnant that purify their souls by obeying the truth gather strength from the trying process, exhibiting the beauty of holiness amid the surrounding apostasy. You notice that in this paragraph, sentence, it didn't say nothing about the Seventh-day Adventist Church, did it? All these, he says, I have driven upon the palms of my hands. They are held in everlasting, imperishable remembrance. We want faith now, living faith. We want to have a living testimony that shall cut to the heart of the sinner. There is too much sermonizing and too little ministering. We want the holy unction. We need the spirit and fervor of the truth. Many of the ministers are half paralyzed by their own defects of character. They need the converting power of God. Mercy and amen. This is what we need. 4 LTMS, letter 55, 1885, paragraph 19. In the midst of the controversial issues that have recently arisen in the church, it is becoming increasingly difficult to know how to relate to the organized church in 2021, 2022, and 2023 that's coming to an end. In this time, the gold is separated from the dross in the church. The gold comes out. The dross are the wicked people that stay in the church. They go down deep into hell. Review in Hell, Volume 3, page 69. O Capernaum, in brackets, Seventh-day Adventist Church, who has had much privileges, goes down deep into hell. They have been found in the Laodicean state from June 10th, 1852. The people come out of this apostasy. They come out of all these criminal acts, and they repent, and they join the procession who gives the midnight cry. In parentheses, all that the Seventh-day Adventist Church can do is join that procession that gives the message. The Seventh-day Adventist Church doesn't give the midnight cry. They come out of apostasy. It is those that make the procession that have come out of apostasy for many centuries and have been standing and grounded in the truth. In reading your organization, increasingly difficult to know how to relate to the organized church in 2021 with all its apostasy that's been coming in. Trinity dogmas, the state of the dead issues. You're dead, you're dead. We don't go and pray to the dead, people. That's spiritualism. The issues in regards to the second advent being imminent has been rejected. Ellen White being the prophet of the remnant has been rejected. The Vatican Church has popes and predecessors. The present pope has been rejected that he is the Antichrist. This is the Seventh-day Adventist Church of the General Conference, Seventh-day Adventist, located in Silver Springs, Maryland, that has ushered in this whole mess to all denominations of the church, all local churches, unions, conferences, divisions. If the Church of the Living God is the pillar and ground of the truth, First Testimonies, chapter 3, verse 15, against which the gates of hell shall not prevail, Matthew 16, verse 18, where actually is the church that meets the biblical criteria today in 2023 and following? Where's the church? Where are the people? Where are the honest people that have been called, who have repented, who are standing tall, who are holy and pure? The Father says to his Son, "Be ye holy, for I am holy." And he's calling all of us to be a holy people and to give him reverence. What is meant by the statement which says that the church may appear as about to fall, but it does not fall, it remains? What church is he referring to? What is meant by the statement which says that the church may appear as about to fall, but it does not fall? It remains while the sinners in Zion will be shifted out. The chaff separated from the precious wheat. Second Selected Messages 380. When will that take place, my friends? That's taking place right now. The sinners come out of apostasy, of all denominations, not just one. Let me talk a little about dismantling of America. This is actually a testimony from a person that is reliable, that is being interviewed. So I decided to take a synopsis to share with us today in 2023 what's occurring and what's happening with all this immigration process. People are making money in Texas. The governor is making money. And I will share with you, without a doubt, what has been going on. But this is a synopsis of what's been going on. So the first phase was dismantling America. The second phase was religion, which is involved with church and state. And ladies and gentlemen, we've been told, don't get involved in government, don't get involved in all these processes, etc. Oh, don't preach it in the church, oh, don't do it. Well, let me share with you. Religion and politics and law enforcement and religion, it's all one basket. You are living in the center of Babylon and you were to come out. If you don't want to be aware of what's going on, then you don't know your Bible. The second phase is dismantling America. This is what we're all experiencing. Republicans, Democrats are in the forefront. The Jesuits are leading the Democrats as well as the Republicans, and the Republicans know exactly what's taking place. Where's Senator Ted Cruz at? Why isn't Senator Ted Cruz really exploring and revealing what Governor Abbott is doing? You haven't heard anything about what he's really been doing, have you? Other than putting the people that are coming from other countries in the buses and leading them out and taking them to Colorado so they can feel the pinch financially. Yet the citizens of the United States are paying for this. They're just printing money, 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 and people are getting paid high dollar. They don't even take care of the veterans in the United States, for that matter. in the department of the homeless. Society doesn't love people. They don't love the military men and women, more or less do for them when they serve the country, and then more or less to help those who are in the streets, who are unemployed, who are sick, who need food, who need comfort, who need Jesus Christ. Where's all the Christians that aren't even going to the homeless and bringing them in and bringing them into their houses? Oh, they can't come into my house because they stink. Oh, we don't want them there. Oh, they got fleas. Oh, they got animals growing on them. Oh, they're using dope, etc. They're no better than all of us. We're all sinners, people. And just because you've been baptized doesn't make you any better than all the people that are homeless, all the people that are veterans that are homeless. Do you see what's going on, people that claim to be in the church and be holy and keeping His commandments? Where are our people when we should be going to those who need the gospel message of comfort, hospitality, food, water, clothing? Yes, there's agencies that are available where everyone can go, but people need help. We need to grab them by the hand and take them and walk with them until they can walk by themselves once again, being restored into the image of Jesus Christ. Dismantling of America. The following transcript is a partial accounting of an interview with a whistleblower, we call him the Red Cell, who helped run security on the transport buses organized by the state of Texas. The state of Texas, who is complaining for all the immigration of people that are coming in, or all the immigrants of people that are coming in, or all the human beings that are coming in that want water and food, that want to take the jobs that other nationalities don't want. Am I getting a little close? Organized by the state of Texas to transport illegal immigrants to sanctuary cities. This whole thing is turning around now. What did the news say? Oh, they're picking up the people and taking them back to the border. Why? Because the country is tired of it. The states are tired of it. They have caused chaos. And it's all coming from the desk of Pope Francis I, the Antichrist, that is illegally given the affidavits to the United States government to do what is taking place, to bring down a financial collapse, to bring down chaos, and to bring Russian troops, Chinese groups, into the United States, and to cause a chaos where the United States men and women would have to fight their own battle at the home front. Instead of going overseas and fighting the war and leaving it there, now the war is coming to the United States. And I've shared with you time and time again, civil war is coming. And it's already started. World War III is around the corner, people. In reading your hearing, this shocking first-hand account reveals how the most hardened, violent criminals from countries like Venezuela are being strategically deposited across the United States in preparation for widespread chaos and civil war in 2024 and following. If Donald Trump gets elected, he is going to allow the military and he is going to allow Homeland Security, law enforcement agencies, all of them. They're going to receive the orders to go to every house in the United States and to drag out these immigrants and load them up and take them back to their homeland, even Palestinians. All of you that have been rioting in regards to what's happening in Gaza, what's happening in Israel, you're all going to be rounded up and sent back home. All these Spanish people are going to be rounded up, loaded up, and going to be sent back home. And it's not going to be a nice sight to view, because there is going to be violence involved. Mark my words. The individual is Red Sal that we will use in protecting his name. He says, well, the main reason to hire is to transport these immigrants from the state of Texas. That's right, Texas. To what? Transport them. From where? From Texas. They're crossing the border from Mexico into Texas. That are coming in and shipping them off to the sanctuary cities in the United States. So the United States wants sanctuary cities. Now they don't want sanctuary cities. Now it's turning around. Take note. As far as New York, Chicago, Colorado, LA, Los Angeles. And that's basically, that's the job. That's the job that's required. These people that are doing this work are security officials that are being paid top dollar. Those who are driving the buses, they're being paid top dollar. Take note. So with that being said, just to understand kind of the rules and everything that goes along with it, the whole mission that they're getting paid for is to get them out of the state of Texas. Well, who's the people? The immigrants. Take note. You got the Asians, the Chinese, they're being transported from the border, bused, and they're taken to Arizona. That's where the Asians are going, the Chinese. The Russians, oh, they're coming in as well, people. They're coming into the southern states. And these Russians that are coming in are military-minded men who are coming in. And you ask the question, Evangelist Gonzales, well, why are they Russian army personnel? War is coming. The government of your country is causing this chaos. So who in the world is the top of the president? Who is this president that is allowing this war to be in the forefront? What power is behind that the United States government cannot stop? Take note. This is Governor Abbott. We have to get them out of the state of Texas. Now we try to persuade them to not get off the bus, because if they want to leave and get off, we cannot hold them against their will. So when the buses leave Texas, and it's going to its destination, whether it's New York, whether it's Colorado or California, when they stop, they can get off free. They're not to say anything to them. But when they get to their destination, there's only a few left, people. They've chosen where they want to get off. They have a cell phone that's been paid for them. They have money, $1,200 to use. And without that cell phone, they will not get any aid from the government. It's already prepared. Take note. You understand we're not law enforcement. Listen to me. So they can actually have the law enforcement called on us, which are the security, and get us thrown in jail for that, if they put their hands on them, etc., etc. So we try to persuade them to stay on the bus, because you have 2 or 1 security guard in each bus for the safety of the process. To get your location and what you're trying to go to. So once we get out of the state of Texas, it's open ball game. Here's where you need to be careful. The bus driver and the security guard. If they want to stop, referring to the immigrants, at somewhere, we stop and they're like, hey, I want to get off here. Okay, well, if you understand that, as soon as I cut your wristband off, you're done. In other words, you're on your own. You can't get on this bus anymore. Listen to what I'm going to share with you. This is reality. This has been going on for the last few years. And with Mind, we had maybe 2 people do that. But all the other contractors, stay tuned here. Remember, this is what the person is saying. See, he was doing this. So take note. Let me explain. But for all the other contractors that was there on 3, there was cases to where you're going all the way to Chicago. This is buses, loaded, okay? They got 50 people in there, 100 people, 80 people. Okay, so these are buses that are going all the way to Chicago, to New York City, and it's like 50 people max on these buses. Once they get 50 people max on these buses, the bus is ready to go. They got blankets, they got food, they got cell phones, they got $1,200. The bus cannot take off until they got 50 people ready to go. These are what you call it, buses, you know? Saying, take note. Yeah, tour bus, stuff like that. You've got different companies trying to get on that. We'll get on that here in a minute. So there is a contract where they are now trying to accept those contracts with 10 times more than what they're getting, and taking these people from the borders all the way into the United States and different states. Okay, but listen to me. We'll get on that here in a minute, but some of them were getting there with 50 people on the bus and only arriving with two people at their destination, meaning in between every single state going up there, they're getting dropped off or left in them states. So with everybody thinking, oh well, referring to the immigrant, they're just getting to this spot and that's it. They're leaving them there. Big, no, not happening. That's not true. In other words, when these people, these immigrants, want to get off wherever they're stopping, etc., because they're making the decisions, they're doing the calls. If there's nobody waiting for them, they can't get off. But once they get off, they cut that wristband off. That's it. They can't help them anymore. They can't get back on the bus. In other words, the United States government is taking over 1,000 immigrants and leaving them off in your cities. And the local government knows it. They're paying them food, water, home, etc. But now, because of the issues that are taking place in New York City, destroying the hotel, etc., the government is no longer going to house them. What's taking place now is they're now being rounded up and taken back. Oh, you're saying Evangelist Gonzales? Now they're taking them back. Yes, they're taking them back. Stay tuned. I'll finish that in a minute. Anywhere in between, as they're traveling from the border, going to the United States, anywhere in between, they can be dropped off at their request. So I'm just going to tell you right now. So with that, and as far as transportation, that's what's happening there. And they are stopping at every other state. It's not just certain locations these people are getting dropped off at. Now, when you get to that kind of people that you're talking about, that gets into a different realm. But before we hit into that, and I left out a lot of information here for my safety, we can go back to the government. So there's two things behind this, like it always is. It's never going to stop. There's a purpose behind this whole thing. We who are students of prophecy understand what is occurring, what is coming with this new world order that they're trying to bring in, but it never comes together. One of them is political. We all understand that, but which a lot of Texans and everybody, we believe that is the right thing to do, is to get them out of here. This is a political issue. Governor Abbott is aware of what's going on. He's behind it. Legally speaking, Ted Cruz and everybody else has been lying. They've been lying. They're bringing in the people when they could have stopped this a long time ago. They could have, the state governor, the state senator, the governors, etc., they could have come together and declared martial law. When you declare martial law, there's no freedom. Your rights are gone, etc. Everybody stays home. And that border, it's closed. They call in the military comes in, they take control. So that's one thing we all agree on, like, okay? This is him talking now. That's great. And the second is money. So we know number one, it's a political issue, and number two, it's money, and people are doing it for money. But when they get involved in it, then the whole mentality changes. They don't want no part of it. Let's not get twisted here. Let's not, go around and be like, oh, just all political. Okay, so he's speaking here. It's a political issue, it's a money issue, it's a high dollar issue because nobody's going to work for nothing. Everybody wants money, everybody wants some wealth. So they lifted up the tally and it's a lot of money. For example, for each immigrant that gets on the bus, it's $5,000 to take them to their destination. So if you got 50 plus 5,000, add up the money. That's what they're getting. And now to go and round them up, it's going to be 3 times the amount to round them up and take them back. And there are bounty hunters already prepared and already started in Texas to round up the illegal immigrants and send them back. That's already in this process. But this is going to get out of chaos here. It's going to be horrible. Let me continue. No, it's not. It's money. So in between the lines here, he's being asked questions, and I'm not giving you those questions. So when I'm talking about money, this is the big one right here that's going to hit us far as TDEM, which is Texas Department of Emergency Management, who is backing this thing up. Texas Department of Emergency Management, who is supplying this whole program. So if you do your work, it takes you back to Congress. Because it begins here in Texas, and as you do your work, the chronological order of events, it's going to take you back to who's in charge of it in Congress. Senators and House Representatives. And President Joe Biden. You know, they're the ones that are in charge of getting these contracts and everything. Well, the actual security companies that we were actually doing this work for says, Red Cell, the bus systems and the bus companies went and everything that awarded this contract. They received this contract. That's Governor Abbott's buddy. Take note. So that kind of lets you know how the circle goes. That's how they do it. And you got to understand, for every bus that we're doing is $5,000 a head. $5,000 a person. Are you with me, people? What did the scripture say? The prophet says that in the last days the Spanish people would be at the vanguard, doing good, giving the gospel, and causing chaos. Take note. And you got to understand, for every bus that we're doing, this is the security official speaking, is $5,000 a head, $5,000 a person. 50 people in a bus, add the number. That's $250,000 for each one that's getting shipped out and into the United States. Now do you see how money talks? $5,000 a head, so it's $250,000 per bus. Are you listening, people? The bus driver's making some big time money. And that security individual that's on the bus is making money. I'm not talking pennies, he's making money. Matter of fact, this individual that has retired can retire on what he's made. But his conscience helped him to understand, to explain and expose this mess to us. It's $1 billion project. It ain't moving. That's just what it is. It's money. It's money, man. That's all it is. It's people employed making money. And they're making top dollars. There's no gas ration. There's no food ration. All this is being taken from the people in the United States to bring in financial collapse of chaos and control. And getting rid of the Constitution, religious liberty. America/religion is being dismantled. They don't get nothing. So on the trip, they're allowed to give them MREs. Take note. And of course, you know, do we stop at certain spots? You know, we can let them out, scan them on, scan them off. When they go off the bus and on the bus. You know, they can get some food or whatever. You got to understand, they are getting paid money too. As well, these people are getting $12,000. They're getting paid $1,200, and they're getting a cell phone. They're getting clothing again. Everything is right there. This is what all the immigrants are getting. Those that are coming from China, Japan, Korea, Australia, Saudi Arabia. Yes. Turkey. And those that are coming in there are cells that are connected with the cartels and cells that are connected with Hamas. You got thousands of cells in the United States. And when the balloon goes up, these people are going to come up to kill you, and you're not going to be prepared unless you understand and take this message to heart. It's already occurring, people. It's not something that's coming in the future. It already started. World War III is around the corner. No, at the destination. So I'm going to clear that up right now. So the whole thing is Texas just signed the law. This is reality. Texas just signed the law now saying it's illegal or it's a felony or whatever to come over without having, your paperwork and everything. Now Texas signed into law a bill that if you come into the United States, it's a felony, it's illegal. So now they're sending out groups to round up the people and send them back to their countries where they came from. And it's costing more. In other words, they're making more money in just rounding them up besides bringing them in for $5,000 a head. I've given you the information of who's running this. So why hasn't any of these senators and House representatives or any legislative aides done anything about it? They can't. Well, who's the power behind them? Excuse me. Just as of now, well, actually about a month ago or a few weeks ago, it went into law. This law. That it's illegal or it's a felony to come into the United States without legal paperwork. So before that, TDEM, they were getting these people and saying, hey, don't worry about filling out your paperwork about your sanctuary. They were saying, don't do it. Come on. And we'll fill it out while you're over here to get you over there. Why not? Bring it, 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 bring it. Getting flooded because it's $5,000 a head. The person, the child, when it's not their child, being covered up, a baby coming over. It's not even their baby. This is how a mess it is. Children coming in. They're confiscating children. They're trafficking children. This is a sin, people. They're committing rape on the women that are coming over. The cartels are working and controlling the borders of the United States. Are you hearing anything that's taking place? Are you proclaiming the first angel's message, the second angel's message, the third angel's message? Do you understand what the sanctuary message is all about? Do you understand what salvation is all about? Do we understand what baptism by immersion is all about? Do you understand what happened in 31 AD at the week of unleavened bread? On the crucifixion of Yeshua HaMashiach on the 14th of the month of Ibid at 9 o'clock in the morning on the year 31 AD? Do you understand this? These are human beings that are trafficked into the country. The world, the United Nations, is trafficking this whole program. That's who's behind it. Question. Why is the government tracking them? They got their cell phones. That's how they're tracking them. They got the wristband. Well, I would imagine they're trying to make sure they get the right number of them into the right districts. 50 of them had to be deported to a certain district of the state. But 20 of them got off at different locations how they were being transported. They decided to get off, and they would end up with the remainder of 10 people at that destination. So that driver and that security officer, they have to report that back to those who gave them the information in regards to transporting these people. They have to stay in communication. They got to do their job. Once again, I would imagine they're trying to make sure they get the right number of them into the right districts, where they, like swing states, where they can outvote Trump, probably in the coming election, is my guess. Well, in reality, this is why it's taking place, number one. So all these immigrants that are in the United States are here for the specific purpose to vote for the president, Joe Biden, who was a Jesuit. So the department in the Congress has allocated this program to be enacted to cause chaos in our country. Why are the Russian troops coming into the southern states? Why are the Chinese being deported to the state of Arizona? But I guess there could be a lot of reasons for that. Now what about, are they given like food and water on the trip that's free or what? Oh, they're given water, they're given food, clothing, blankets, it's all free. Taxpayers' money. Yeah, food and water's provided, everything on their blankets, everything. They have that. You got to understand these people are coming from, different parts of the world, like various cultures. You got people that are coming from different islands, the tropical, the area, the weather's totally different, but when they come to the United States, like now in the wintertime, oh, you better believe it, they're going to need a couple of blankets. Most of the ones that I was going through, says the red cell, which were all Venezuelans. So that's a different people that's come in and is being placed in a specific area in the United States. Those Venezuelans are criminals. Take note. With the military-age males, these are Russians. Me being, that's my background, looking at these people, their demeanor, how they are, nah, it ain't that. Most of the ones that we were transporting, I hate to say it like this, but they're all criminals. Man, this is his response. Straight up criminals, criminals. This is who they've been transporting and are presently transporting right now from the borders into your states, into your hometowns, and even into your villages. Let me share this with us. No, you're talking about understanding Spanish, and I can understand exactly what they're trying to do when they get there, to their destination. They're talking about when they get there, which kind of dope they're going to try to get, because they're transporting, trafficking dope, drugs. About when they get there, which kind of dope they're going to try to get, how they headed down to that T. Now these people here, so the ones that you're seeing on the news and the ones that they're coming out, one that I saw that was outside the actual, I believe it was the Roosevelt Hotel or somewhere else in Chicago, where is dropping them off at they're showing them an outside saying, yeah, they're barely giving us food, all this. In other words, what's happening at the hotel in Chicago, these immigrants tore that hotel to bits. So the government decided no more hospitality, no more hotels, motels. We're shipping you back. So all these sales that are coming in, they know their destinations, they got their phones, but they're calling their locations to click up with them, to settle in, and to start running the drug game. Number two, now those are the rare part of the ones that are actually being out there. Those are the families right there to where I feel bad about, because this is the red cell discussing this, have no chance, or no choice, they understand what's going on. What he's saying is that they understand what's going on in the trip. They understand what's going on here in the United States, why they're coming. I mean, you can't blame the kid. I mean, you can't do none of that. I mean, we're all human beings. I inserted that. But these individuals were transporting and dropping off. And the ones that I am saying that are getting off the bus, in between them, I'm at to say they're all criminals, man. Straight up. So all these individuals, these immigrants that are getting off, they got $1,200 on their pocket, got food and water and blankets, clothes, and a cell phone. They're all getting off at their destinations where they want to get off at. They're going to be picked up by the other gang members. They're going to get picked up by other organizations. This is Mike speaking. He's asking a question. Okay, so like MS-13 type of people, or what are you saying? Referring to Mike? This is what Mike was saying. Now, the informant is Red Cell. Response, you got to understand what Venezuela did. It did it almost like what Castro did. They got rid of everything that's in their prisons. So all these immigrants that are coming from different countries, these are all the immigrants that have been released from death row, prisons. Men that are doing 18 years, 20 years, 30 years, they're all being released. And guess what, America? They're being released into your schools and your neighborhoods. I've been asking you, get your weapons. Because these people are going to be directed to come into your homes and to take your life, whether you like it or not. So wars coming to the forefront in the United States, where the battle's coming here now. And you're going to have our own people fighting our own people by chaos and ignorance. Unless you start getting organized. Now Mike asked the question, so they're just emptying the prisons and sending them to Texas? Exactly. Red Cell says, yep. But who's doing it? Who's giving them across that? They got to go through a lot of stuff to get here. They can't just do that on their own without any kind of funding or helping. Yep, that's right. These people are getting funded, they're being supported, and you've seen all the economics that they're receiving. So what are they coming here to the United States for? The land of the free. War is coming. A synopsis. Red Cell says, so right there with TDEM, right there, with these particular people, it was Wim Company, WYNN Company. There's charter buses, that right there. These are the ones that are the actual direct buddy with Abbott. So Governor Abbott is in connection with WYNN Company, in connection with TDEM. And you've seen him come out crying wolf on the news. He's playing both sides of the fence when he's the key culprit. Now these people here with the contract, they were starting to get a lot of pressure to where when I was midway through the contract, this is referring to Red Cell, his contract was almost up. They had to have the state of Texas was like, hey, you got to have this many buses running at all times. In other words, you have to have 23 buses running. You have to have 50 people in them or more. It's part of the contract. Now you got to understand these people here. It's a contract. They're trying to save money, so they're buying these buses for 10 grand to $10,000. They're buying these buses, throwing $2,000 into the pot to quicken the process to get the buses sold in order for them to do the work of the immigration transportation of human beings. Hopefully they get it inspected, in other words the buses that they're buying, through the DPS, because they have to inspect them before they get anything on there. And hopefully it makes it to A location. So you got A location, you need to write that down. And then you got B location, stuff like that. You sure what I'm saying? In other words, do you understand what I'm saying? It's what Red Cell is saying. Oh, I completely understand what he's saying. I caught on to this a long time ago. But I mean, even if they spend 50 grand on a bus, I mean, they pay off the bus 5 times over on the first trip. For example, 23 buses a day being loaded up all the immigrants, being driven to different states and different cities, and dropped off. And then reporting back to their destination, which is Texas, and continuing the cycle all over again. 23 buses a day, and you look out there, there's 50 people on that bus, $5,000 a head, you can do the math. That's a lot of money. Yep. So we're talking 1,200 people a day, or almost 1,200 living Texas. This is what's happening. And so Governor Abbott is crying wolf, When he's on the wrong side of the winning team, he's on the losing side, Satan's side. Yes, sir. So now you got to go in from, you got them going from staging point is San Antonio. So let me elaborate. The staging point in regards to this whole project is San Antonio, Texas. That's where everything's being directed from. You got your cells, you got everything there. The buses are being bought for $10,000 plus $15,000 a bus. So you got a security officer in each bus making sure that these people are reaching their destination. If they want to get off, they will get off because they want to, and the band is cut. And when the band is cut, they cannot get back on the bus. But they got their cell phones. Those that stay on the bus will reach their destination. It's a different story. Is reading your hearing? That's the main stage at point. Once you go on into San Antonio, you're there. They, FAP, you out there to wherever they say. Hey, you got orders? You're flying to, or you're busing to El Paso, McLean, Laredo, the Rio Eagle Pass in Texas, and by the way, was just added in Brownsville. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cities. Brownsville just been added just recently. These are the staging points where people are being loaded. They're coming through the border. They're coming through the wall that President Donald Trump assembled with the laborers. Like he says, when I become president, you're all going home. It's not going to be a clean story. It's going to be a mess. Very messy. Those are the locations right there, all 5, you go to. And then once you sit there and wait, then they will tell you once, because they got to process their paperwork. There's paperwork involved. And everything on that. But as soon as they got the 50 people, the immigrants, then you'll get your order being like, hey, go and pick up these people. In Brownsville, Laredo, McLean, El Paso, Texas, or Rio Eagle Pass. You have to wait for your paperwork, and you got your instructions and your designation where to go and pick up those 50 people who are immigrants and take them to their destination. Then you'll get your orders being like, hey, go and pick up these people, and your destination is either Chicago, New York, LA, or Colorado, and that's how they would do it. That's how they do it. This is how the process has been done. So our team was just straight security. That's who Red Cell works for. They have their own bus drivers that's doing the bus driving and doing it. Then we're just security for the drivers on the bus. So the bus drivers have been selected to drive the buses to do this dirty work. Red Cell is an agent, a security. His job is to make sure that these aliens or immigrants, these human beings, get to their destination. And that the process is followed through, that the government is directing. Yes, yes. So we're with them. So just to give you an idea, so from El Paso, which is the furthest point, I can kind of tell you, from El Paso to New York is about 33 hours drive. You got 33 hours from its destination of San Antonio, and then to get to New York City, it's 33 hours. One way. Byway. Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand how much work this is? Do you understand the patience and self-control the bus driver and the security guard have to have? It is only when the law of God is set aside, in closing, and men have no standard of right. This is referring to what I've just discussed. Dismantling America. No means to detect sin, that every mortals can claim perfect holiness, but let none deceive themselves with the belief that God will accept and bless them while they are willfully violating one of his requirements. So everything in regards to all these honest souls that are coming over, no matter what their background is, these immigrants, is violating the laws of the land and the laws of heaven. Because they are trafficking children, they are trafficking women, they are trafficking families. And the United States government should be ashamed because they're an accessory to the crime that they've established. The commission of a known sin silences the witnessing voice of the Spirit and separates the soul from God. Jesus cannot abide in the heart that disregards the divine law. This is referring to security guards, the bus drivers, the government, the agency, and the immigrants. They all have a conscience, people. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. God will honor those only who honor Him. Very simple. This is in your 1884 Great Controversy, page 299, paragraph 2, 4, Spirit of Prophecy. Whosoever abideth in Him sinneth not. Whosoever sinneth transgresses the law. Hath not seen Him, neither known Him. Though John in his epistle treats so fully upon love, yet he does not hesitate to reveal the true character of that class who claim to be sanctified while living in transgression of the law of God, mercy. He that saith, I know Him, and keepeth not His commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. Rightly said. Can we hear an amen? Spirit of Prophecy, Volume 4, 299, paragraph 2. Our Father who art in heaven, blessed be thy holy name. As your Sabbath has come to a close, we ask that these brothers and sisters who are immigrants from other countries, these security guards, these bus drivers, and all the rest of Congress who is involved in this chaos of a mess, forgive them of their sins, for they know not what they do. We ask for your grace upon them, that their names be written in the book of life and blotted out in the book of iniquity. Bless the 34 Angels Ministries, and we thank you for the messages you bestowed upon us. And in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, glory to you in the highest. We praise you for your Sabbath, that thou mayest bless and sanctify us and make us holy throughout the week. And Yah